Good morning to this week's Frank Partnership podcast. So, we've just finished the Frank Partnership webinar for the week, and I'm going to share with you some of the stuff that we covered this week. Initially, we kicked off with a review of how the sophisticated strategies that we use on the Frank Partnership in England, basically England and Wales. Actually, we've got a couple of the partners that invest in Wales as well. How those complex strategies that we use here transfer to other countries. We've got a couple of partners who are looking to emigrate to Australia and use their property knowledge here to build a portfolio over there. We also had questions about America and Scotland. The great thing is that the UK is one of the hardest places to do creative property investing, which means that when you move to other countries, it's a lot easier. So really good news for anyone wanting to perhaps establish a firm passive income here and then to move overseas and use their income in other countries. So really positive from that perspective. We also looked at a partners mentoring log. So every week on the Frank Partnership, every partner fills out it's kind of an accountability sheet where they say, here are the most important things I need to do this week. I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And then they send the sheet back in before our weekly webinar and they say, here's what I've actually got done. I've achieved this one, I've not achieved this one, I have achieved this one, etc. And we looked at one of those in detail today, and it was really interesting. The guy that had filled the sheet in, a guy called Mark, he had set himself 6 tasks and 2 educational tasks. So he had a total of 8. And of those 8, the 2 most important ones that he said, those are the 2 that I need to get going with every week in order to succeed. It was sending 20 letters to vendors, so 20 offer letters a week, and phoning 10 potential full market value investors. And what he said was, those are the 2 things that if he didn't do them this week, and he didn't do them next week, and he didn't do them the week after, his business would massively suffer. He wouldn't be nearly as successful as he wants to be. And lo and behold, he'd got 6 out of 8 done. He'd done the 6 that he, in the cold light of day, when he looked at them, said, those 6 are less important than those 2. But the 2 he hadn't done were the 2 that were the most important ones. It's really interesting. And I see that a lot with people on the Frank Partnership, clients that I coach and mentor. So our learning from that is that in order to maximize our productivity, we've talked about most important tasks, profit generating activities. In order to maximize our progress towards success, it's really important that we get done today what we know is the most important thing for us to do today. And if you miss it, so when you plan your week, my suggestion is you put your most important tasks, your profit generating activities into Monday and Tuesday, because then if something crops up and they get bumped to later on the same week, and you still get to the end of the week having, in Mark's case, sent your 20 letters, phoned your 10 prospective investors. Because it doesn't matter whether you get your 20 letters written this week. What matters is you get your 260 letters written in the quarter, or that you make your 130 phone calls in the quarter. So if you don't get them done today, get them done tomorrow. If you miss them this week, make sure that next week you do double to get that key performance indicator, that KPI, nailed week on week on week. And then you know that you're going to achieve the goals for the quarter. And that's very apt because we're about to enter our next quarterly plan. So we're about to enter our second quarterly plan for the year. If you have written one, feel free to bounce it off us. My email address is frank@frankmentors.com. Feel free to email it in, and myself or one of the team will get back to you with our thoughts on your 90-day plan. If you are not planning your week in advance, then definitely start planning your week in advance and make sure that the things that are on your 90-day plan are actually going into your weekly plan. Really, really important. Our quote for the week is a quote from Muhammad Ali, and what he says is, "Don't count the days, make the days count." And I think that is so relevant to this topic. It's no good having a quarterly plan with your 90 days all laid out, but then you don't do what you're planning to do during the days. If you miss a day, it's fine, just make up for it tomorrow. If you miss a few days, that's fine, make up for it next week. But make sure that you get to the end of the quarter having done everything you've set out to do. So that was the main learning from today. We did a couple of deals. The first deal was a property where the partner was looking to buy it through an agent, and we couldn't decide what the deal was because he didn't know enough information about the vendor. He'd not actually sat down and met with the vendor, and it's so hard to do really profitable win-win deals when you don't know the vendor situation. The second deal was through auction, same problem. Numbers look okay, but until you know the vendor situation, you can't make it a fantastic deal. You can't make it a no money down deal until you know the vendor. The third deal, which was one that Susan presented, she knew everything about the vendor. She knew the vendor's situation, why they were selling. She knew they had medical bills of £50,000 that they wanted to pay off. She knew what their mortgage was. It's an outstanding balance of £200,000. She knew that cost £522 a month, and she knew what they were looking to achieve. That is what you need to know about a vendor in order to effectively solve their problem. If you don't know their problem, how can you solve it? It's impossible. On the basis of all those numbers, we decided that this property, this is in SE25, so London Borough. I think it's London Borough, SE25. We decided that the best solution there was what we call a vendor finance flip, whereby she would make a contribution to the healthcare costs. She would run Airbnb on the property for a short period of time while she sold it. And the beauty of Airbnb, or holiday lets if you like, is you dress the apartment. It's a 2-bed apartment. You dress the apartment for sale and then you rent it out. But when you do your viewings, you obviously do your viewings when no one's there and it looks immaculate. So we said spend £2,000 on making it look lovely. Contribute £5,000 to the healthcare bills so that the terminally ill family member can continue to get treatment, and sell it for probably £10,000 below market value, which would leave a net profit for the partner of around £25,000–28,000 for a month's work, 2 months' work, with no risk whatsoever. So, very low risk other than the £2,000 and the £5,000. So, really good deal, because the partner had worked out the vendor situation. So if you have deals that you want to bounce off us, feel free to drop us an email, frank@frankmentors.com. We will soon have a Facebook page where you will be able to upload your deals and we'll be able to respond to them. Okay, have a great week. Take care. God bless.